In the last video, if you haven't seen it, we created this thermoplastic seat base molded perfectly to the back of the tank here. But before I foam this up and create the seat out of it, I want to make an electrics tray. I'm going to try something a little bit different here. And I also finished the final design of the subframe in that last video. And before I fully weld this up, I'm just going to leave all the finished welding to the end. I've just sprayed it with a bit of black paint to stop it from rusting while I'm working on it. Whenever I'm tracing something like this, I want to get as close to that edge as I can so it's nice and accurate. Using a standard pen or pencil isn't really going to get you there. I like to use these guys. They're like a necked down kind of pen, if you will, and I find they're fantastic for this sort of stuff. And they're also great if you're trying to get into a deep hole like this and trace around the edge, because you can get right up to that edge as close as you can with that little tip. So as you can see, it's starting to follow the line of this bottom support for the subframe here, which is exactly what I wanted. I may even make this piece here, I need to extend it a little bit, but I might make it follow the line of the shock, but that's going to make that electrics tray quite small. And it's not like you're going to see this anyway, so it doesn't really matter about the line. There's going to be an infill panel going in here, which will have louvers, custom louvers cut into it. So I've now made the cardboard template for the electrics tray, allowing enough room for the largest item that's going to be in there, which will be the battery, and this is the size. It's probably going to be a gel battery, but if I go a lithium, I'll have even more room. And I was going to do a flat bottom section just here to allow a flat base for the battery, but I don't think I really need to worry about that. More or less, I wanted to keep in line with this part of the frame here. But instead of making this one out of steel, which I've done multiple times before, I thought I'd make this one out of aluminium or aluminum. Aluminum, man, that sounds so weird for me to say. I'm going to take a little bit more out of the base here on both sides so that it's a slight taper like that, because it's going to be made of 3mm aluminum. And I've also allowed a little bit of room here for the shock in case it does come up and moves at all, but I don't think it's going to hit, but if it does, we can always make the changes. And another upcoming video will be making a set of these. I don't want to use the original ones. I want to try and create something of my own design. I've got 3 different designs. I've just used this as my bolt spacing, but it's going to be a set of rear sets mounted about here, which will clear the kickstand. So definitely keep an eye out for that video when it comes out. So once I cut this out of aluminium, I'm going to bend it on my brake bend. And when I get to do that, it'll make more sense, but I need to do it in a sequence, otherwise I can't do it in one piece. So the outer 2 bends are going to be done first. These bends here are just going to be a slight kink over so that it closes the gap where the subframe sits. And then I'm going to do 3 and 4, which are those 2. And then finally number 5, which is here. And so then all I'll have to do is a weld on both sides up here and on the other side. I'm just hunting through my steel sheet supply here, and I don't really have any 3mm aluminium. I've got some 1.6 and I've got some 1.2 or 1.6 steel, just no aluminium. So I just found this piece of aluminium and it's pretty scratched, as you can see, but it is 3mm, and I thought, oh, that'll be perfect. And then I put this template on there and realized that it's too big, so that's not going to work either. I could potentially cut it in sections and weld it as 1, 2, and 3, but I just want to do it in one piece so I can fold it. But I do have plenty of steel, so let's make one out of this and see how it looks. And there's no real reason why I have to use aluminium. It's not because I'm trying to reduce weight or anything like that. It's just a personal preference thing. That's what I wanted to make it out of, and so that's what I'm going to do. But for now, let's just make it out of steel. And as you can see now, the metal one is in place. I'm pretty happy with it. I might do a little bit more of a fold on the top when I make the aluminium one, just to close that gap even more. But this subframe actually comes out ever so slightly, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit of manipulation in there as well, just to close that completely. But it's currently Monday and I was able to go down to the sheet metal supplier and grab some aluminium, and this is actually 2.5 mil, not 3 mil like I was going to do, because I think this is going to be way strong enough. And just a matter of making the aluminium version now. So now that I have two of them side by side, you can feel there's quite a considerable difference in weight. This is 1.6, this is 2.5, and this one here weighs 2.1, and this one here, the aluminium one, is 1.1, so about a kilo difference. Now let's see how it fits. Pretty good. Tipping these edges in was a lot better of an idea. As you can see, the gap's still here, but that's okay because I can pull those out. These guys here, I'll probably just metal shape them perfect with the frame. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to be mounted just yet. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be doing a tab at the back, which will also hold the tail tidy. There'll be probably 2 mounting points here on the side and then 2 at the front. I'll be installing a Motor Gadget Mo unit inside this electric tray with a battery. These things are now available on our website if you want to go and check them out. I've done an entire video showing what these things can do. If you haven't seen that, that's well worth watching. And we also sell the tail lights. These ones are with the inserts, and you can also get those tail lights independently, or you can get these really cool ones which actually curve so you can actually fit them on your hoop. And we also have a selection of really high quality turn signals, gauges, headlights. I'll leave a link to the website in the description below. I'm absolutely stoked with how that's turned out. I couldn't be happier. It's exactly what I wanted. It's really hard for me to show you what the picture in my head is of what this bike's going to be when it's finished, but I can tell you it's going to be pretty awesome. And I've also got a bit of a surprise feature going under here, which is a bit of fabrication. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is. If you can figure it out, leave me a comment, let me know, but I'll tell you a hint. It requires a bead roller. And if you've enjoyed this video, I've got a ton more just like this one. Go and check them out.